It's a long time, and people always ask what was crab fishing like in the beginning, and I've got a story that's a pretty good example. The town anymore, we couldn't home base there, we couldn't bring our crab there. It was going to change us financially.
Captain Bill Wichrowski, known to millions of fans as Wild Bill from Deadliest Catch, has faced countless storms over the course of his impressive career. With his strong and commanding presence, he quickly became one of the most recognizable figures on the popular reality show. However, a recent challenge tested him in a way unlike anything he had experienced before. What followed was a striking display of inner strength as he faced one of life's most difficult trials with the same fearless determination that made him a legend on the Bering Sea. But what exactly happened to Wild Bill might catch you off guard. Before diving into that, let's take a look back at the life of Bill Wichrowski. Long before he became a television star, Bill Wichrowski was already earning a name for himself in the fishing industry. Wild Bill, as he became known, was practically born for the sea. He started navigating the perilous waters of the Bering Sea decades ago. Thanks to his no-nonsense style and exceptional seamanship, he quickly gained the respect of those around him and earned the nickname that stuck with him ever since. It wasn't just his skill at steering a boat through rough seas that set him apart, it was also his relentless drive and larger-than-life personality. His toughness and unwavering dedication made him an ideal choice when Deadliest Catch producers were looking for captains who truly represented the spirit of the job. Wild Bill made his debut on Deadliest Catch during Season 6, and he didn't go unnoticed. With his striking white beard, intense eyes, and strong presence, he immediately stood out. His first boat on the show, the Kodiak, quickly became well known, and viewers were drawn to his blunt honesty and deep respect for the ocean. What many people don't realize is just how much hard work Bill put in to get there. He began his career as a greenhorn, the lowest position on a crab boat, and worked tirelessly through tough conditions, long hours, and risky trips before eventually becoming a captain. That same grit and perseverance would later help him through even greater personal challenges. As the seasons went on, fans watched Bill's journey continue. He moved on to captain different boats, eventually taking command of the Summer Bay. His leadership style evolved over time, becoming more refined, but he never lost the bold energy that defined him as Wild Bill. His bond with his crew, especially with his son Zach, who joined him on the boat, offered fans a closer look at the man behind the tough exterior. Even as his fame grew, Bill never stopped being a true fisherman at heart, someone who understood and respected the power of the ocean. Still, his greatest test would eventually come away from the sea. The first signs that something wasn't quite right with Bill Wichrowski appeared while filming Season 19 of Deadliest Catch. Observant viewers started noticing small changes in his energy and how he looked. The captain who used to move across the deck with the energy of a much younger man now walked more slowly and cautiously. Occasionally, a flash of discomfort crossed his rugged face. Much of what happened during filming was kept private. True to his nature, Bill didn't complain or draw attention to himself. When questioned by crew or producers, he'd wave it off and say, "It's just age catching up." But those closest to him knew something wasn't right. One rough day out on the water, first mate Nick Mavar found Bill sitting alone in the wheelhouse, quieter than usual. "You doing okay, Cap?" Nick asked. Bill gave a small nod, but the pale look on his face told a different story. Behind the scenes, the production crew exchanged uneasy glances. The loud, larger-than-life captain everyone knew seemed to be fading, and it didn't go unnoticed. Off-camera, Bill had been dealing with persistent fatigue, unexplained aches, and other troubling symptoms for months. Like many seasoned fishermen, he assumed it was just part of getting older and the result of years spent working one of the toughest jobs in the world. Despite everything, Bill continued filming. There were good days, where his voice rang out across the boat, full of energy and leadership. But on other days, even simple movements seemed to require more effort, and his speech was more careful. Those who cared about him became more and more worried. In a rare quiet moment between fishing runs, his son Zach finally said what everyone else was thinking. "Have you been to see a doctor?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. Bill hesitated, then quietly replied, "I'll check it." When they got back to port, it was the first real sign that something might truly be wrong. What followed would change everything for Bill Wichrowski and everyone who cared about him. Wild Bill's diagnosis came during the season 19 finale while the cameras were rolling. That's when Bill Wichrowski finally received the news that would shake his world and surprise Deadliest Catch fans everywhere. After several tests and consultations with specialists, the diagnosis came in: prostate cancer. As the doctor explained the situation, Bill sat unusually quiet, taking in the heavy weight of the words. For a man who had braved rogue waves in some of the world's most dangerous waters, this unseen threat felt entirely different, more personal and far more terrifying. "So what's next?" he asked the doctor, his voice rough but composed. "What do we need to do to beat this thing?" That one question said everything about Wild Bill. He wasn't questioning whether he could beat cancer, he was focused on how he would overcome it. When the doctor advised immediate, aggressive treatment, many assumed Bill would step away from fishing to focus on his health. But they didn't fully understand just how deeply connected he was to the sea. Fishing wasn't just his job, it was who he was. Then came a surprise, even to those who knew him best. "I'm not stopping," Bill said firmly. "I'll do whatever treatments I need to, but I'm not giving up my boat or my crew." The doctor looked concerned but not entirely shocked. As Bill walked out of the office, the diagnosis weighed heavily on his shoulders. But his health battle wasn't just personal, it became a compelling story of strength and courage that would inspire many others going through the same fight. The battle began in season 20 of Deadliest Catch, and Bill made a bold choice. Unlike many public figures who choose to keep their health issues private, he allowed the cameras to document his cancer journey. Behind the scenes, viewers saw a new side of Wild Bill, still tough and determined, but now facing a very different kind of fight. Cancer treatment is no easy road, and Bill's experience was no exception. Juggling the demanding role of captaining the summer bay with intense treatment was grueling. He lost weight, battled constant fatigue, and dealt with a range of harsh side effects. But his spirit remained remarkably strong. "Once I let the news go public, I heard from a million people saying, 'I hope you're okay,'" Bill shared in a season 20 preview. "They tell you about all the symptoms that'll slow you down, and I just said, no way." Throughout that season, viewers witnessed moments of deep vulnerability rarely shown on reality TV. There were hard days when rough seas and medical side effects visibly drained him. Yet, there were also moments of victory, reeling in big catches, joking with his crew, and showing the world he could endure far more than expected. The crew noticed how Bill would sometimes retreat to his cabin between takes, only to re-emerge minutes later with renewed determination. There were no complaints, no drama, just a quiet strength in a man refusing to let a diagnosis define him. One day, after an especially tough shift at sea, a crew member whispered, "We're losing him," when Bill looked completely worn down. That fear echoed through the boat. The indestructible captain they all relied on seemed like he might finally be reaching his limit. But over and over, Bill dug deep and kept going with the same fire that made him a legend on Deadliest Catch. Even off camera, his journey was just as demanding. The treatments were brutal and would have sidelined most, but Bill took each one with grit and viewed every session as a victory, a step closer to beating the disease. During this time, support poured in from fans all over the world. Letters, emails, and social media posts showed just how many people were touched by his bravery. Bill, who never liked to show emotion, found himself moved by the overwhelming support. He hadn't expected his story to touch so many. "I was hoping that by continuing the work, I could show people that even if you're going through this, you don't have to give up," Bill said. "You can keep your." Life kept moving, and I wasn't planning to stop unless I absolutely had to. When Bill Wichrowski received his cancer diagnosis, it didn't just affect his own crew, it sent a powerful emotional ripple across the entire Deadliest Catch fleet. Longtime rivals who once competed fiercely over crab quotas, like Sig Hansen, Jake Anderson, and Josh Harris, suddenly found themselves united by something far deeper than competition: loyalty, compassion, and shared experience. Tough times often reveal what truly matters. In a world where strength is expected and emotions are usually hidden, Bill's illness brought long-buried feelings to light. Former rivalries faded, replaced by a sense of unity built over years of enduring the brutal conditions of the Bering Sea side by side. As the news of Bill's condition spread, the fleet responded quickly and with sincerity. Sig Hansen, captain of the Northwestern and once a fierce opponent of Bill's, didn't mask his concern. "That tough old bastard," he said, the words gruff but clearly heartfelt. "If anyone can beat this, it's Wild Bill." Even during the demanding crab season, when every second counts, captains made time to check in with him. Radio conversations, typically filled with talk of weather and strategy, shifted in tone. "How are you holding up, Bill?" became a common sign-off. Jake Anderson, who had faced his own deep personal losses, quietly stepped up to support Bill. After losing both his father and sister, Jake knew what it felt like to carry silent grief. Whenever the Summer Bay and Saga docked together, he would find time to sit with Bill. No advice, no pity, just the quiet companionship of someone who truly understood the pain. Josh Harris, captain of the Cornelia Marie, knew the struggle of facing illness in the public eye. He had gone through it with his father, Phil Harris, and offered Bill a perspective only someone who's lived it could provide. "The cameras make it harder and easier," he said during a rare, heartfelt conversation. "Harder because everyone sees what you're going through. Easier because the world is behind you." Support didn't just come from the captains. Crew members stepped up in their own ways, offering small but meaningful gestures that reminded Bill he wasn't facing this fight alone. As Bill continued his treatment, fans of Deadliest Catch got a glimpse into the reality of modern cancer care. His medical journey revealed not only the challenges of fighting the disease but also the impressive advancements in treatment. Today, there are far more options for treating prostate cancer than there were just a decade ago. Bill's doctors used cutting-edge techniques, including radioactive seed implantation, a method that delivers radiation directly to the tumor while sparing healthy tissue. On Facebook, Bill shared that he was undergoing both radioactive seed therapy and hormone treatment. While the radiation itself was manageable, the hormone therapy hit harder. It lowered his testosterone to nearly zero, which is effective in fighting cancer but can leave you feeling exhausted, weak, and unlike yourself. Bill remained transparent with his fans. "Numbers are great, not complaining, just sharing," he wrote. Still, he admitted it was tough losing the energy and strength he had always relied on. "I've always felt 10 to 15 years younger than my age. Working this job and being around a crew half my age made me feel youthful. Now it feels like the clock has caught up. Maybe it's a small price to pay." Even in the middle of his struggle, Bill turned his experience into something positive. He encouraged fans to pay attention to symptoms and get checked. That message resonated. Many responded with gratitude, shared their own stories, and sent heartfelt messages of support. Throughout his treatment, Bill continued spending time at the ports, working on the Summer Bay, and meeting with other captains. He was determined not to let cancer redefine him. At his core, he was still a fisherman, just one facing a serious illness. One of the most difficult parts of battling cancer begins after the treatment ends. It's the long, nerve-wracking wait to see if the treatment was effective. For Deadliest Catch Captain Bill Wichrowski, this stage tested both his strength and vulnerability. Doctors typically avoid declaring a patient cured of cancer. Instead, they focus on how the body responds and whether the patient is in remission. For someone like Bill, who was used to clear outcomes, either catching crabs or not, this gray area was frustrating. On the Bering Sea, things were black and white, but cancer didn't follow the same rules. Following treatment, Bill underwent routine checkups and blood tests to monitor his PSA levels, an indicator of prostate cancer returning. Although these appointments were private, Bill occasionally shared short updates online. Phrases like "results looking good" or "another test down," numbers heading in the right direction offered glimpses into his journey. They were brief but powerful, proof of a man staying resilient and optimistic, aware that healing from cancer is a process, not an event. During this time, Bill chose to keep working as much as his health allowed. He remained active on the Summer Bay and continued appearing in new episodes. Fishing wasn't just his profession, it was therapy. "Being on the water is where I make sense," Bill confided in a crew member during a quiet moment. "Out here, I'm not a patient. I'm still just the captain." That one statement reflected how important it was for Bill to maintain his identity beyond his diagnosis. Behind the scenes, the show's crew and network made accommodations for Bill's medical schedule, allowing breaks when he wasn't feeling well. This support made it possible for him to stay involved with the work he loved while prioritizing his health. Gradually, Bill's updates began sounding more hopeful. With each test, the results confirmed that treatment was effective. What started as a frightening diagnosis began to evolve into a powerful tale of perseverance, optimism, and healing. Everything shifted for Bill during what was expected to be a routine visit to the doctor. That appointment turned into a life-changing moment, one that brought new hope not only to him, but also to his family, crew, and fans around the world. For months, doctors had been cautiously optimistic. Even though Bill's test results were improving, they avoided making early promises. Then, during one appointment, that cautious attitude finally changed. "I seem to be cancer-free now," Bill shared in an online update that quickly spread through the Deadliest Catch community. Those simple words carried enormous weight. After months of uncertainty and grueling treatment, Bill had finally reached the milestone every cancer patient longs for: a clean bill of health. The response was overwhelming. Messages poured in from fellow captains, past and present crew members, and thousands of fans. Many thanked Bill for being open about his journey and offered prayers and encouragement. Despite the positive news, Bill remained realistic. He understood that prostate cancer could return and that regular checkups were still necessary. But for now, he was able to look ahead with peace of mind and focus on what he loved most: steering the Summer Bay through the untamed waters of the Bering Sea. This celebration wasn't just about fishing. It was a tribute to a man who had fought a brutal battle and emerged stronger. As season 20 of Deadliest Catch came to a close, fans realized they had witnessed more than a season of fishing. They'd seen a remarkable chapter in the life of someone who had weathered one of life's harshest storms and come through with strength and dignity. Today, Bill Wichrowski is living life with the same strength and passion he always had, but now with a deeper appreciation for each day. What transformed him wasn't just surviving cancer, but the new perspective that came from facing such a profound challenge. Surviving something that serious tends to sharpen one's focus on what really matters. For Bill, that awareness became real. His approach to fishing, his relationships, and his day-to-day life shifted, guided by the lessons he'd learned while facing down cancer. "When I first found out," Bill said, "I told." He often asks, "How are those numbers looking?" While it might come off as tough, it comes from a place of genuine care. Jake Anderson, who has gained a lot of wisdom from Bill, frequently turns to him for guidance, both in fishing and in life. Josh Harris, who has experienced loss in their close-knit fishing community, deeply values every season he gets to spend working alongside Wild Bill. Bill's crew stands by him in a unique and powerful way. Their loyalty stems from witnessing him fight battles while continuing to lead. They've seen his resilience firsthand. "There was a time we thought we were going to lose him," one crew member shared. Not just to cancer, but to the struggle itself. Sometimes, when people face something so overwhelming, they begin to fade. But not Bill. He remained our captain. He stayed Wild Bill. Even during his hardest days, he never lost himself. Cancer didn't change who he was, it revealed just how strong he's always been. As Deadliest Catch continues to film new seasons, Bill remains a fan favorite. His transformation from fearless captain to cancer survivor to inspiration has added new depth to the man viewers admire. What he went through wasn't the end, it became another powerful chapter in a story filled with courage, heart, and determination. Bill Wichrowski battled prostate cancer and emerged even stronger. He returned to the sea he loves and moved thousands with his powerful story. His journey is proof that with the right care, persistence, and support, even the fiercest storms in life can be overcome. Have you or someone close to you faced a challenge like Wild Bill's? How has that journey inspired you? We'd love for you to share your story in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to hear more uplifting stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time.